Today, Governor Polis delivered a 1-2 punch designed to protect Colorado from the pandemic.
And this evening, we are going 360 on weather. That's going to be enough to curb a virus that has bested us at every turn. Now, part of the governor's plan will take effect Friday when restaurants, businesses, and gyms in the hardest hit counties begin to implement new restrictions.
And we'll have more on that in just a moment. First tonight, Denver 7 political reporter Megan Lopez on a special session to provide relief to businesses, homeowners, renters, and more. Megan?
And in Shannon, state lawmakers are set to reconvene here at the Colorado State Capitol the second week of January. But the message really today from Governor Polis and from Senate and House leadership was that this cannot wait. They said that they have about $200 million that they weren't expecting to have that they can put to COVID relief to help families and to help businesses that otherwise might not be able to make it through the additional restrictions that we heard the governor talk about today, but also the holidays. After months of wondering will they or won't they, on Tuesday,
I'm calling the legislature into a special session.
Governor Jared Polis announced he's calling state lawmakers back to the Colorado Capitol early with a clear intent in mind.
I'll be asking the General Assembly to take up critical legislation that will help Colorado families and Colorado small businesses survive these challenging winter months ahead.
House and Senate leadership say they have about $200 million to help businesses and families during the pandemic. That money coming from better than projected state revenue from the income tax.
And there is one-time money that we can use to help stimulate the economy and help those families out.
The governor laid out 4 areas he'd like to see the legislature focus on in particular: small business relief, housing and rental assistance for people struggling to make ends meet, support for child care providers to help them stay open, and expanding broadband access for students and educators.
Here's an opportunity for us to do something, and I think if we didn't do anything, it'd be unacceptable for Coloradans.
Some Republicans, like Senate Minority Leader Chris Holbert, say they're glad the governor is including them.
He's calling us back now because he sees immediate need for these 3 or 4 categories. And frankly, we tend to agree with him that the details are where we need to have the discussion.
He'd like to see some of the focus go to helping schools, but also landlords.
They can't evict, and in many cases, they're not collecting rent. And if they go bankrupt, where are those people going to go?
Others, like Representative Patrick Neville, are questioning the timing of it all since they asked for a special session months ago.
It's amazing to me that he didn't call us in the session for $1.2 billion that he just spent all on his own. But now he's calling us in the session for $200 billion. Now, for $200 million, it just seems like this is just simply a publicity stunt.
And he's questioning the safety for public testimony with COVID numbers being so high. Nevertheless, the legislature will reconvene. Now it's just a matter of when. So something I heard over and over again at that press conference today from the governor and the House and Senate leadership is that the reason they're doing this now is because the federal government isn't doing anything and hasn't been doing anything to offer relief. At the same time, though, they said that really this money is just a short-term solution and they need the federal government to help states like Colorado to be able to weather this pandemic in the long run. We don't quite know yet exactly when that special session is set to start. Anna, Shannon.
All right, Megan Lopez tonight. Thank you, Megan.